a well-known yoga pose, and yet one of the biggest challenges, no matter whether you're a beginner or an advanced yogi, there's always something to work with in your doggy pose. So let's take some things apart. If your shoulders are tight, or your hamstrings are tight, or you're feeling a bit weak in the wrists, you can have all sorts of things that will come and make your dog feel a bit unhappy. So let's tackle some of this today. What you can get, your wrists can get too much pressure on them. If your hamstrings are tight, your lower back will round. You'll think, oh, I need to get my shoulders to my heels to the floor. By the way, you don't really have to do that. Your shoulders are probably going to be up against your ears if your neck is tight and your shoulders are feeling a little bit weak. Your belly is going to fall about, and it just feels like, you mean this is a resting pose? Huh? Okay, let's take it apart. First of all, let's build a strong foundation. Always spread your fingers as wide as they will go. Put them down on the floor. And now from here, we can actually start to work some wrist warm-ups. So the first thing you do, make sure you're pressing all of the fingertips into the floor. And then you can start to draw circles around, side to side. Now take your time with these. Go slow. I'm just showing you a bunch that you can try. Flip the wrists one at a time, depending on how often you do this, whether you've done it before or not. Good. You can take the palms to face up to face you. Keep pressing down through the fingertips. Good. And one last really nice one you can do is keep all the fingertips on the floor and raise the hands up, the palms only. Now, your hands are nice and warm. Make sure in your dog you're pressing into the fingertips and the whole surface of the hand is going. Sometimes I see this kind of like cupped hand. You want to not do that. Basically press the whole hand into the floor. Okay, so from here you roll the shoulders away. Now let's warm up our shoulders a wee bit. We want to work with this serratus anterior muscle here. So if you first let yourself collapse into the shoulder blades, that's the opposite of what you want. But if you get that first, then press the floor away. Good. So it's like the front of the body is meeting the back of the body. Do the same thing again. Exhale. Good. So you can feel how the core is working as well to make that happen. Nice. So this way, the eye of the elbow, this little crease here, is going to rock forward. So you're opening your shoulders to the front of the room. Now you're making space. The neck can be nice and long. Good. Now another thing that you can do to work with the shoulders, keep that tabletop here. And now keeping the hand nice and flat and strong, reaching the fingers away from each other, pull the hand up so the elbow's coming back. Oh yeah. So you're starting to get into that back of the shoulder blade. Good. So it's going to warm up your shoulders. They feel a bit tense. Sweet. Okay, so let's put this into a dog. Lift the toes. I'm going to come back and talk about some other stuff. Lift the toes. Now keep pressing to the fingertips. And then you're going to press into the hands. Keep pressing into the all surface of the palms until you're coming back into your dog. Now, the middle finger should be facing forward. But it really depends on where your wrist crease is. So if the wrist crease is off to the side or in the way when you take your middle finger forward, maybe take the first finger forward. Doesn't really matter, basically. And if your shoulders are tight, take your hands slightly wider. Give yourself a break. Then here, bend the elbows, roll the shoulders back. Then press, press, press into the hands. You press the forearms down into the floor. So you're pressing with this muscle here. Press, 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 press. And you can stay here. Let the head be soft. So the biceps and the ears are in a line. Okay, we've dealt with the hands. Awesome. The next thing we want to work with. So in order to find length in the back of the hamstrings, we want to find a hollowing out in the belly. And you'll see that we'll do this in the actual dog pose. But a really great way to practice this is Uddiyana Bandha Kriya, which is like a stomach vacuum. So I have a separate video about this, I think, on my Instagram. But if you take a big inhale through the nose. Now you want to exhale all the way out. And at the bottom, pull the navel back towards the spine. So you hold it out as much as you can. Then before you want to inhale, press the navel out, then you take an inhale. Note, don't practice this if you're on your period or if you just had a big lunch or if you've got anything in your tummy. Let's try again. Inhale. Exhale all the way out. So you'll see that lift. Watch it in my dog. So you've got your hands. Now you pull the navel back towards the spine. It's not going to be as dramatic, but I always take a big inhale, then exhale. And the belly kind of hollows back towards the spine, and that gives you more space in the lumbar to fold at the hip joint. And then it will be easier to take the heels down towards the floor. Now, one more thing. What's key really, because in a dog, we're folding at the hip joint. So we want to find the correct tilt of the pelvis. If you've got tight hamstrings, you'll find that it pulls down on the back of the sit bones, rounding your lower back, and that's not going to help you very much. So let's work on it here. As if you were going to do cat-cow, like we all do cat-cow in class. It feels nice, basically. It's a wonderful sequence to do. But imagine you're doing cat-cow. Now, press the floor away, like we did in the first exercise, engaging the serratus anterior, and keep the shoulders stable and stiff. And then just start to find a tilting motion in just the pelvis. Take some concentration, but it's very useful. So the hip bones go up, tailbone drops down. Hip bones go up, tailbone drops down. In a dog, we want this. So if you build it using everything we've worked on, press all the fingertips down into the floor, push the floor away, roll the shoulders away, lift the navel back towards the spine, tilt the tailbone up towards the sky, then you just lift the knees, and you're sending yourself back, 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 back. Keep the shoulders moving away from each other. Now my belly and my thighs are touching. That's a really good place to stay. Let the head hang. However, you can go further by continuing to send the hips up towards the sky, continuing to press strongly into the knuckle of the first finger. Take a big inhale, let the lungs be buoyant. Then as you exhale, the navel comes back towards the spine. From here, you press more into the balls of the feet to take the hips higher. And from here, you can maybe start to straighten the legs if you want. Keep pressing into the hands though. If the heels come to the floor, hooray for you. If they don't, so what? Doesn't matter. But what I'd like you to do is think about the outer hips moving away from each other. So you're engaging here. The inner thighs are rolling back towards the back wall, but at the same time, the inner ankles are moving towards each other. So that means your whole leg is engaging. Now lift the kneecaps. That helps the hips straighten, the hamstrings, lengthen, sorry. And then just press floor, balls of feet. And then you find a bit more of a triangular dog shape. And it's hard work, man. Like, listen to my breathing. Like a dog. Now, I want to show you what the shoulders look like, because this is very key. It's very easy to end up doing this. Now you can see just what my shoulders look like when I'm doing this. Shoulders up beside the ears. And oh boy, it's not nice. In fact, it's harder to even breathe like this. But now, I'm going to bend my elbows, shrug the shoulders away from each other, press all the hands down to the floor, take an inhale. Then as you exhale, you're going to press the belly back, keeping the shoulders wide. Now if your arms stay a little bit bent here at first, that's okay. Make sure your neck is nice and free. Reach the top of the head to the floor. From there, you use the navel to make lengthen the torso. And then you can think about the ribs pulling back towards the thighs. And hopefully you maintain more space in the shoulders. And that's what's going to strengthen it. Now my hands are pressing so strongly. Really. Okay, what else? All of these cues, there are different stuff to play with. Now, it depends on what is in your body, okay? Because everybody's different. Now, if you have tight hamstrings, you might find this thing, in which case you want to bend the knees and think about the belly coming back towards the thighs. And keep the knees bent, and maybe straighten one leg, maybe straighten the other leg. But don't always only do this. Try to see if you can press them at the same time. Use that anterior tilt. Use the hollowing of the belly. Okay, that's one. However, if you are hypermobile or very bendy, or if you've been doing yoga for a really long time, there can be a bit of a tendency to do this thing. Oh, I'm so bendy. Look how far my ribs go. It's so nice. But look, what's happening with my shoulders when I do that? Okay, that's no good. So instead of this, where you're collapsing into the shoulders, bring the torso forward, keep pressing the hands down, roll the shoulders away from each other. Again, you can bend the knees to find that navel there. Now tuck the ribs in. And that has got your core there, and then now you can see how long the spine is. Lengthen the back of the neck. Take an inhale. Now exhale, press the heels. Now you're actually evenly balancing both sides of the body. Making a nice long dog. Think about descending again the crown of the head and lifting up the center of the pelvis. Nice. So walk your dog. Give it all a try. Let me know how you get on. And if you have any questions, you can post them below or just send me a wee message.